How could I be this wrong? How? Hello and welcome to what pretty much every F1 content creator is making at this point in time. A review of their 2020 predictions or a review of their 2021 driver lineup predictions. And let me tell you, this is probably the worst of the lot. Apart from the fact that it comes to you from a shed, where you can probably even hear the rain on the roof, because this is the only quiet place I could find. But anyway, yeah, we're doing a review of the 2021 predictions. People have been predicting what the 2021 driver lineup was going to be for all 10 teams on the grid. A lot of people had a lot of hopes for who was going to be on the grid or who was not going to be on the grid in some instances. Those hopes might have turned out wrong. But anyway, I've decided to jump on the bandwagon, make a nice little video for you guys, and go back through some predictions I published on the 23rd of October. And that's only, actually to the day, 3 months ago. And figure out just how wrong I've been in those 3 months. And yeah, we did at the time, there was still a lot of gaps on the grid. We didn't know who'd be racing alongside Max. Any of Alpha Tauri seats, they were both empty. We knew Vettel would be carrying Aston Martin on his own, who would be riding with him. I think it was quite obvious, really. Alfa Romeo had yet to confirm anything. And Haas, well, let's start there.
He does not fox smash my door. Tell him that.
I published my final version of my predictions after waking up to the news that Haas weren't signing either Romain Grosjean or Kevin Magnussen for 2021, which rather blew my original version of this clean out of the water. So I had to quickly sit down with a cup of coffee and figure out who Haas might be signing for 2021, and came to the final conclusion, after a bit of rejigging, that they would be signing Callum Ilott and Italian Jesus. Sensible choices. And both completely wrong. Not only is Ilott not appearing on the grid in 2021, which I think is a bit of a sin in itself, they chose this god-awful, egg-headed So yeah, Haas effectively had a choice of 3 drivers from F2, Ilott, Schumacher and Mazepin, and of which they picked the last 2. Not the hotly shipped first 2 of Ilott and Schumacher. We don't know why they picked those last 2, but we know why they picked Schumacher. Brilliant driver, F2 champ this year, amazing. Can't wait to see the Schumacher name back on the grid. He is an absolutely outstanding driver, and hopefully we'll see some brilliant progression when he gets into a Formula 1 car. But why did they pick Nikita Mazepin? I don't know.
It's more like a hobby for me,
So where does that leave Italian Jesus? Well, in my original sort of plan, I had him moving to Haas and working as a senior driver to train up Callum Ilott. And I'd predicted much the same for Alfa Romeo, where they'd be keeping on Kimi Raikkonen and using him to train up Mick Schumacher. That didn't happen. About a week after I hit publish on my original thoughts, Alfa Romeo said, we're keeping both Kimi and Antonio. So Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen will be staying on the grid for 2021, which is good. I think they're brilliant racers, and I really want to see a bit more from Italian Jesus. But it does mean that my predictions of Kimi Raikkonen and Mick Schumacher are wrong. Point and a quarter, point and a half for that, I'd say. Come on, we've got Kimi still on the grid, and we've got Mick Schumacher in a Ferrari-powered car, so we're close. Oh, come on, what do you mean no? But anyway, there we go. I was wrong, apparently, with that one as well.
George Russell takes the lead of the Sakir Grand Prix.
We'll move on from the Ferrari-powered teams for a moment, and we'll take a look at some teams with Mercedes power units. And Williams, we'll start with Williams. And I predicted for 2021 that Williams would be keeping Nicholas Latifi and George Russell. Latifi brings in a lot of money with him, and Russell brings with him an incredible amount of talent. We saw him drive fantastically in the Sakir Grand Prix against Bottas in that Mercedes. He did so well for a car he just simply didn't fit in, on a race that just seemed destined to have him finish yet again without any points. So we've got talent, we've got money. Hopefully they'll keep the Williams team alive for yet another season. I love seeing them on the grid. They are an absolutely brilliant team. A lot of history to the Williams team. So fingers crossed we'll see them on the grid in 2021. And of course my predictions for that did ring true. So 2 easy points there, I suppose.
You're always
Under pressure.
Diamonds are made under pressure.
Racing Point, or Aston Martin as they will be known from 2021. We knew at the point when I wrote my original predictions they were going to have Sebastian Vettel racing for them. Vettel in green. That's going to be quite an interesting look. We've never seen that before. And the question was, who was going to be racing alongside him? We say we don't know, but in reality we all knew that it probably was going to be Lance Stroll. Everyone jumped on the assumption because Daddy's cash, and we're never going to really know if that's why, but equally you can argue that Lance has had an incredible 2020 season. He had the podiums at Sakir Grand Prix, wasn't it, where he finished third behind Perez's first ever win, and Esteban Ocon's first podium in Formula 1. He was second, wasn't he? Then it was obviously Stroll on third, and then he picked up another third place at Monza with Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz just ahead of him. So he's had a very good season indeed. It's been beset by a bit of bad luck. Mugello, where was it his rear tyre that let go, spun him off into the gravel trap and his car caught fire. Then he was tagged by Charles Leclerc in Russia, wasn't it? And he had to retire from that race as well, I think. So he's had a fairly up and down season, but he is very much proving himself to be a stupendously capable racing driver, and hopefully with a bit of sort of solid leadership from Seb, we could see a very strong team indeed emerging in 2021 with Aston Martin. So, I mean, do I get a point for predicting Lance Stroll, or was that just an easy guess? Point there? Are we even keeping points? I don't think we are we?
To change name and to welcome Alpine for next year, I think is a nice moment, you know, to spend the last Grand Prix of the year, remembering what Renault achieved in the last 3 or 4 decades in Formula 1.
Alpine. How about Alpine, the other team on the grid for 2021 that will be effectively a new name? Same setup, new name. We've obviously got Racing Point becoming Aston Martin. We've got Renault becoming Alpine. Both names that start with R becoming names that start with A. Interesting. I don't know why. There's probably not. It's just coincidence. Anyway, Alpine, we knew early on that they had signed this completely unheard of, untested Renault junior driver called Fernando Alonso. Never heard of the guy. We've been told they were signing him. He's been doing all the junior driver tests out in Abu Dhabi over the past week. Apparently he's quite quick. Who'd have thought? Anyway, so we've got Alonso racing alongside Esteban Ocon. Ocon had been signed for a multi-year contract at Renault, so it was quite obvious he was going to be staying on for 2021. And I think very early on they announced that they would be not retaking, they would be just taking on. That's it, taking on this new driver in Fernando Alonso. Smart choice, maybe.
So what is it? A comedy?
Sometimes.
A horror?
Occasionally.
A romance?
Some would say.
A thriller?
Absolutely.
And now we're going back to 2005. We've got McLaren Mercedes back on the grid. We've got a Schumacher back on the grid. We have a Raikkonen still on the grid. It's like going back to 2005. And of course, next year we will see McLaren Mercedes back on the grid. McLaren are swapping from using Renault power units to Mercedes power units, and they will be using the incredibly entertaining, probably, driver lineup of Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. And according to my notes, we already knew that when I wrote my original piece. So no points there, I suppose, really, for writing what we already knew. Oh well. Who's next on the list? Red Bull.
2020 is set to become one of the biggest years in Formula One's history.
Easy. They were going to keep Verstappen, they were going to keep Albon. Obviously they were going to keep Verstappen. They're not getting rid of him until the day he dies, really. He is sticking around for good at Red Bull. I can't see him moving anywhere else. Albon, though, I thought they were going to keep Albon for 2021. I really did. They'd been lining up to look after him. There was rumours that they were going to engage in driver training and actually keeping one of their Red Bull junior drivers in a Red Bull team. Turns out they were just rumours. None of that actually happened, and Red Bull went and signed someone from outside of the Red Bull talent pool, which we should have really foreseen coming, because on the 24th, the day after I published my original notes, my original garbage, my absolutely ridiculous prophecies, Christian Horner piped up and came out with, "We want Alex to claim the seat in 2021, but if we had to look at a different solution, then we would have to look outside of the Red Bull pool of drivers." It was there, crystal clear. Christian Horner saying, "We will look outside of the Red Bull pool of drivers if Alex Albon cannot claim the seat." If he couldn't prove to Red Bull that he should stay in the seat that he was in, and unfortunately it looks like he didn't. So, there we go. Red Bull have, according to my notes here, elected to gloss over their school of drivers. Are they not very good at nurturing young talent, or was Sergio Perez too alluring a concept for them to ignore? While Max was indeed an obvious choice at the time, I thought Albon would be partnering him. But no, nil point. Big fat nil point for me, and big fat nil point for Alex Albon in 2021. A shame, really.
Accélère, accélère. Oui, il va aller la chercher. Ne lâche pas. La victoire de Pierre Gasly. Il l'a fait. Victoire de Pierre Gasly. Victoire d'AlphaTauri. La victoire française. 24 ans, 3 mois et 18 jours après Olivier Panis. La France, de nouveau victorieuse en Formule 1. Il l'a fait, Pierre Gasly. Exceptionnel. Victoire historique. Pierre Gasly, vainqueur du Grand Prix d'Italie.
Sticking with the bovine teams for AlphaTauri, and according to my notes here, I had penned that they would be keeping Gasly and Kvyat for 2021. Both drivers have put in an outstanding demonstration of their skill and talent throughout this year. We had a brilliant show from Kvyat in Imola, where he finished 4th, wasn't he? He came in 4th. That outstanding series of overtakes he did after the safety car was lifted. That was brilliant. He just shot off. Everyone else was dawdling around and he was like, oh, racing started again. Whoosh, off he went. 4th place. Outstanding drive from a team that has historically been the little sister to Red Bull. He showed them up on that weekend, flying past Alex Albon and Checo Perez through turns 2 and 3, wasn't it? It was incredible. And the fact that they're not keeping Kvyat really makes me wonder that they've put a lot of faith in Yuki Tsunoda, a chap who, according to my notes actually, I had bookmarked for 2022. I thought they were going to keep Gasly and Kvyat for another season and then drop Kvyat, but they seem to have jumped a year ahead of where I was writing and kept Gasly and moved in Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, obvious choice really, keeping Gasly. That man has been on a flyer since Brazil 2019. Absolutely outstanding demonstration of skill. That second place in Brazil, the joy it brought to him, the elation you can hear in his voice over the team radio. Fast forward to 2020, comes to Monza. The safety car, we have that full restart, the red light restart. I still watch that back. It still brings me joy. The tension, the elation in the commentary, both the British commentary, and I constantly implore my friends to go and watch it and listen to it, is the commentary from the French coverage is outstanding. Just the way, the urgency in the commentator's voice as he urges Gasly on towards the line, and then as he comes across the line, the joy, the deepest joy to have a French F1 winner, the first French F1 winner since 1996 at, would have been Monaco with Olivier Panis, wasn't it? That was it. That was the last time we'd seen a French F1 winner, and Gasly proved that he could be the next man to take that title in an AlphaTauri, in a Toro Rosso, in a Minardi, if you wind the clock back far enough and make that sort of a leap. Incredible skill, and I think that's why he's been kept on for 2021. He's going to be there to show Yuki Tsunoda the ropes, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know Josh Revell's done a video, I'll put a link to it, one of the top corners, about Yuki Tsunoda. He is going to be a hot talent to keep an eye on for 2021, that is for certain.
If you ask what it means to win with Ferrari, I don't know, because but I want to find out.
Ferrari then, at the time when I originally wrote this, we knew it would be Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. I don't think Sebastian Vettel knew it, which is quite harsh, really. But that seems to be the Ferrari chose to do it. They were like, by the way, you don't have a seat next year. He's replacing you. What, you've agreed that? Yeah, we've already agreed that. Great. When are you going to tell me this? We just did. Thank you. I can't imagine Sebastian Vettel would have been too happy. But nonetheless, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, two very, very talented drivers who have shown a lot of very good driving talent actually this year on the grid. Carlos Sainz has had the advantage of having a very good car underneath him, and he has brought the fight to Lando Norris every weekend. He got that brilliant second place in Monza. Did he get any more podiums this year, Carlos Sainz? I don't think he did. It was just that one podium, wasn't it, this year? But yeah, brilliant show of driver skill. And Charles Leclerc, who got 2 third places this year. A few retirements, but 2 third places. He did also absolutely bin it at Monza. So, swings and roundabouts. We'll see how both drivers line up for 2021 with hopefully a better car. What have they called it this year? Was it the SF21? They've gone back to a conventional means of naming it, maybe. Who knows? They seem to change their naming system from year to year. No one knows why. But anyway, the SF21, hopefully it suits Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, and we will see Ferrari back at the front of the field, as opposed to running around behind F1.5 going, wait for me.
Can he go any faster? He's had 2 poles at the Red Bull Ring before. Make that 3 now. 2020 Styrian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole position.
And so that just leaves Mercedes. I've got pretty much a side of A4 notes for Mercedes. We've got 1 empty seat left at Mercedes. I predicted for 2021 they were going to take Hamilton and Bottas. We still don't know if that's going to be the lineup. It almost certainly is going to be the lineup, because who would, in their right mind, wouldn't sign Hamilton? The man is at the top of his game. He's probably got another 2, possibly even 3 world championships in him. And he has no other commitments. He's got Formula E, he's got the Extreme E, isn't he? The Formula E's off-roading cousin. But much beyond that, he's got no real sort of distractions. He can go into 2021 as focused as he came into 2020 and absolutely dominate it again. I'd love to see it. I'm not a Hamilton hater. I absolutely love the man. And I love that amazing display of driving that he can put on every weekend. The level of focus he has in the car is beyond my comprehension, at least. Which does make Valtteri Bottas' job that little bit harder. Are we ever going to see a Valtteri Bottas world champion? I don't know. Maybe I'll put that in a 2021 predictions video where I'm actually predicting things that might happen. Not just horrendously incorrectly predicting who's going to be driving in 2021. Who'd have thought the 1 seat we're waiting on is Hamilton's? It's ridiculous. So what have we learned from all this? Well, we don't know who's racing alongside Valtteri Bottas in 2021, and we've learned that I'm not very good at guessing who's going to be on the 2021 grid. So, 2 very important things there. Still, I mean, knowing my luck, in the eon that it'll take me to edit this all together, Toto Wolff will come out and say that Esteban Gutierrez is being hauled out of retirement and thrown in the Mercedes seat. Something ridiculous like that. Who knows? In the meantime, enjoy some Formula food over on my other channel. Link will be there or there. One of the 2 corners. I can never remember which one. Cheers.